A highly critical report has found Ministry of Transport whistleblowers were forced out of their jobs too early and suffered unnecessary hurt and humiliation in processes involving convicted fraudster Joanne Harrison. But the State Services Commission inquiry concludes no staff were specifically made redundant because they spoke up. 3 former ministry staff raised concerns about Harrison's conduct on several occasions and subsequently lost their jobs in a restructure. Here's our political editor, Jane Patterson.
Harrison stole nearly $750,000 while employed at the Transport Ministry and was sentenced in February to 3.5 years in prison. The State Services Commissioner launched an investigation after the whistleblowers claimed they were forced from their jobs in a restructure Harrison helped to lead in 2015 after they raised concerns about fake invoices she was presenting and dubious travel she was taking. But Sandy Beattie, QSO, who carried out the inquiry, found the redundancies themselves were not the result of Harrison's actions.
The redundancies were due to the ministry moving to an automated accounts payable system. This was a planned move and legitimate for the ministry to pursue and was properly authorised. Joanne Harrison had no control over that particular decision.
But she did find the staff members were disadvantaged after being made redundant well before the new system was due to come into effect, a decision that was influenced by Harrison.
The process was followed, resulted in the staff members being made redundant just before Christmas in 2015. And ultimately around 7.5 months in advance of the new processing system coming into effect. There was additional hurt and humiliation for these members of staff caused by the fact that they had to train a temporary staff member to undertake their jobs.
The State Services Commissioner Peter Hughes has apologised to the whistleblowers and agreed to a confidential compensation package. He says these public servants should never have been disadvantaged in this way.
They did the right thing, raised genuine concerns and through proper and appropriate channels. The fact that they were then disadvantaged because of it is wrong and unacceptable. I have thanked these individuals for their public service and I have apologised to them for the treatment they received. I've done that in person.
He says the situation has raised broader questions about the ability of public servants to speak up with concerns. As a result, Mr Hughes has issued specific standards public agencies will need to meet when dealing with whistleblowers and ordered a review of the Public Disclosures Act.
Every agency needs to have clear, easily accessible systems for public servants to raise concerns and they need to make sure their staff know that they are there and how to use them when they need to use them.
The Acting Public Service Association Secretary Kerry Davis says the report sheds much needed light on the actions of Joanne Harrison and the fact it was allowed to happen.
Well, we think it's horrendous that that sort of culture existed there, that people could make complaints and for them to be gone uninvestigated until this report was done. We also want to question what sort of workplace culture would exist there that people don't feel able to speak up under the Protected Disclosures Act.
The inquiry also found Harrison blocked a former member of the ministry's legal team from receiving a pay rise which had been recommended. That staff member had previously pursued concerns about Harrison's activities, both with the Chief Executive and Harrison herself. Mr Hughes says he's taken steps to make sure that situation is remedied, to make sure the staff member has suffered no financial loss. Meanwhile, an investigation is ongoing into whether Martin Matthews, the former Transport Ministry Chief Executive, should remain on as the Auditor-General. Mr Hughes refused to make any comment about Mr Matthews' role in the controversy in light of that investigation. From Parliament for Checkpoint, Jane Patterson.